Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.
Hello again, everybody. It's Randy Hills live on the set of Talking Memphis Wrestling and the Randy Hills Show, welcoming you to this show of August 11th, 2026. I'm so excited I can't hardly talk. It's going to be a huge show, huge show, huge show. Calvin Lindsay, hello to you. James, hello to you. Thomas, and everybody, all the Team Hells that's rocking and rolling with a very special edition of Talking Memphis Wrestling, Part 4 of Memphis Wrestling's Greatest Nights. The idea that the great Randy West, the best wrestling producer, cameraman I've ever seen, he suggested a series on Memphis Wrestling's Greatest Nights, and we're week 4 into the thing. Today, a bunch of stuff planned, including what I'm really excited about, the last 3 sellouts at the Memphis Mid-South Coliseum for wrestling. Great footage, great talks. Hey, Eddie Cox. Hey, Frank Seaton. Hello, Tracy. Hello, everybody. I am so excited today about our subject. Hey, first take time, and we'll go to the OG. I announce him that way because he is. He's one of the originals on Talking Memphis Wrestling. When it was an audio-only show, he stuck by us. He stuck by me every single minute since that time. Could not, would not do this show without him, Randy West. We couldn't do without Pat, couldn't do without any of the panel. I couldn't do without Adam Dunn, and I couldn't do without Randall West, my friend Randy Dandy. We're the two Randys, always a tag team together. Richard Hood, a tag team as well, as we bring in. He is in where my other panel member is today, and they're not together. But let's welcome to Talking Memphis Wrestling in New Orleans, Louisiana. Don't think he's going to be there long. But hello to you and your first take, Pat Trammell.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. It is great to be here. I am so thrilled to have the Blues Doctor, Dr. Rusty Robinson, on tonight, and it's going to be an interesting show and an interesting panel. And yeah, I've been on work slash a little bit of R&R on the Alabama Gulf Coast, and I'll tell you something. Tell you a funny story, Randy, with some history in it and some cinema in it. How about that?
I like funny stories. I like history. I like sentiment. I am ready. I am seat belted on, and I'm ready to hear your first take.
All right. Well, I was coming from Dauphin Island, Alabama, which is on the Alabama Gulf Coast, a small little spit of an island, and I was coming to New Orleans because I've got to fly out in the morning at 8:20 and go to Tampa, Florida, and then fly back and then drive back to Dauphin Island, which is about a 3-hour drive. But you come through kind of the South Alabama, deep South coastal Alabama, and I was coming through a town called Bayou La Battery, and about 80% of the people in Bayou La Battery are the Bosarges, and they're all shrimpers. And Winston Groom wrote a book about that part of the world, but he called it Greenbow, Alabama, and that book was called Forrest Gump. So I was riding through Bayou La Battery, and I should have taken a picture, and I wish I had, and I'm sure I'm going back the same way, so I will. I looked over to the right, and there was a building that had been obviously converted, and it had a picture of Bob Armstrong on it, and it said Bullet Bob Armstrong Memorial Auditorium. So obviously, and I wish Bo was on here, although that's not his part of the world. Somebody's been running wrestling shows in deep South Alabama, and I guess maybe Bob Armstrong worked over there a couple of times on the Gulf Coast end. But I thought that's pretty interesting. And if I do go back through there, I'm going to take a picture for us.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. You look trim and suntanned and like you're having a good time with your family on your vacation at the beach.
Well, it's going fine. I'm kind of working, but that's nothing new. So anyway, anyway.
In the first take,
That's the end of my first take. Well excited for tonight's show. Excited to have Dr. Rusty Robinson on. We almost could pass each other. We're on the same town, so good to have him. So that's my first take.
the way I announced Pat Trammell was coming to you now, presently in New Orleans, Louisiana, the man that spent a lot of his adult life in New Orleans. He had his fame and fortune built in New Orleans, Louisiana. But it all started when he was a young man on early Maxwell Boulevard, in between Central Avenue and Southern Avenue in good old Bluff City, Memphis, Tennessee. He hadn't been a part of the panel in quite some time, but he's making his return, even though he's not at home, but he is in New Orleans. Let's welcome back everybody. Stand up in your bedrooms, in your offices, in your dens, in your living rooms. Give a hand to our panel member now. Welcome back, Rusty the Blues Dr. Robinson. Hey, Doc.
Hey, Randy. Hi, guys. I never know what to say after you give me these fabulous introductions, but it is good to be back. Thank you, as always. Thank you for having me tonight. It's good to see you. It's good to see Pat and everybody in the chat. We are, in fact, my wife and I are, in fact, in New Orleans. It's kind of our second home now. We have a condo in New Orleans in addition to our house, which is over in Orange Beach, which is actually just kind of across the ferry from where Pat is staying at Dauphine Island. So they're actually very close, but it's a water journey. So anyway, boy, it's great to be back. Last week and this week have been some of my favorite shows to date. And I think I told you this, Randy. Last week's show was the one where Harley Race and Jerry Lawler fought for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And I was at that show live at the time. And to this day, that is my, I think, favorite wrestling match ever to see live of all time. Boy, the crowd was glued to the ring that night. And everybody in the Coliseum was convinced that if Jerry Lawler had only had maybe one more minute after the 60-minute time limit, he would have won and been the next NWA champion. It was that good. They told such a great story, and I loved reminiscing about that last week. I didn't get to hear all of the show, but I heard about half of it. And I'm looking forward to hearing the show this week because you've got some more great matches from Memphis history. I was not in Memphis when most of these matches we're going to talk about today occurred, but I've seen, I think, almost all of them, on YouTube or wherever since then. So I think I have some insight into those as well.
December the 11th, 1977. At that point, I had started ring announcing in Jonesboro. I had yet to go to the matches at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. I had never been. So you got to see a match that I didn't see live as live can be. We did the experience last week because devoting an hour for one match, and these days in time with remote control and everything else, a fast-paced society, but everybody stuck with it. The audience built as the show continued. And I can tell you right now, people, You have friends that's wrestling fans. The last three sellouts ever for wrestling at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. We will take a look at that. Now, I'm just going to take a minute to talk about something that's in the news lately. But first of all, I'm a wrestling promoter, so I am going to plug, and I want Pat to listen to this plug for his ride back home on the plane or on the car once he lands. I want him to go back, and I want you guys, every single one of you, this week's edition that was dropped today of Jeff Jarrett's podcast, My World, and the last probably 45 minutes of it is heavy on Jeff talking about Jerry Jarrett, showing Jerry Jarrett's first wrestling boots, first pair of tights, first ring jacket, and had some great thing. And Jeff actually went to the house that Jerry Jarrett was living at when he passed away. Pat, that same house that you and Wyatt went to see when you were doing a business deal with Jerry Jarrett, that same house in Franklin. And Deborah was there, so Deborah was on camera and showing Jerry Jarrett's office upstairs and all the stuff, and so showing Jeff some great stuff that he'd never seen before. So My World Podcast travels to Franklin, Tennessee. Pat, you got to catch My World, especially the whole show was great, but it was probably 3 hours long. You got to watch the last 45 minutes, Pat.
I look forward to that. I'm gonna do that. Sure am.
Very good, everybody. Check out the Jeff Jarrett My World podcast. The other thing I want to talk about today is something controversial in the wrestling business the last few weeks, and Jeff dealt with this subject before. Here's what happened, and I think we have a graphic, and it happened at, I believe the promotion was Game Changer Wrestling. Game Changer Wrestling, and appearing on the card is rookie professional wrestler and second generation wrestler Avery Styles, the son of none other than the great legendary AJ Styles. Now, Avery's had 3 or 4 matches in his belt lately. I've watched everything that's on YouTube. He reminds me so much of his dad. He is 19 years old. Well, because of who he is, and he's an internet sensation now, they booked him for a pretty good independent show, Game Changer Wrestling. And so he went, and he was a draw. He was billed as one of the feature attractions, not only because of him, because of his dad's strong social media presence. And again, I've saw the match where he wrestled the guy, hell of a match. He did the favor. I've seen all his matches so far, and it's just, I mean, just a fantastic guy. Now, Frank Seaton says hello to Doc, and Pat Rose is tagging his son Ty Rose. And so as we put that graphic back up there, because the controversial guy is a longtime independent wrestler that I've never heard of at all in my life, and he made a derogatory comment about Avery Styles about not paying dues. Apparently, they flew him in. He plugged it on his significant social media. AJ on his significant social media, and a big crowd, bigger than normal, were on hand to see Avery Styles. Remember, this is a 19-year-old young man just starting his wrestling career. As you see comments from WWE superstar Cody Rhodes, his feedback to the guy that was knocking Avery Styles, Cody says Avery Styles has already paid his dues. And his comment, Arik, the wrestler's name is Arik, my friend, no shade intended, but my outlook. Avery is 19. His father was paying dues and making sacrifices throughout that young man's youth that some people may never understand. Obviously, Cody Rhodes can understand that. When you're the family holding down the fort, to simplify, Avery Styles has already set up the effing chairs. So certainly my thoughts on that, certainly I paid my dues, Jeff Jarrett paid his dues. There's all kinds of ways of paying dues, all kinds of ways paying dues. But a person that comes in, the star of the show, people paying to see the show, he's paid to wrestle, and you're not going to bring a guest in to wrestle and have him put up the chairs. And like Cody says here, he's already paid his effing dues, because ask Jeff Jarrett, ask Jamie Dundee, ask Doug Gilbert. You're holding the fort down. Now, I know, and this is an opinionated show, and wrestling fans more than ever has opinions, and different people. Pat Rose can say, well, my son paid dues. I'm sure he did. I'm sure that Avery is paying dues, just a different. To me, if I'm paying a ticket to see a wrestler portrayed as AJ Styles' son, portrayed as a future WWE or AEW star, which I'm sure Avery Styles, if he keeps his head on straight, will be. I damn sure don't want to be at a wrestling show seeing him put up the ring, take down the ring, and putting chairs up. I just don't want to see it. There's all kinds of ways. And and Cody's comment both is, you have, if you hadn't grown up in the home of a professional wrestler, the family's left paying dues and holding down the fort. And I just wanted to give my opinion on that strongly, because a lot of people out there, and some people that's never been in the real wrestling business. Now, Pat Rose has been in the real wrestling business. Randy Hales has been in the real wrestling business. Pat Trammell has had a real big-time job. Dr. Robinson saved people's freaking life, by the way. So everybody's paid dues, but I think everybody will agree on this panel that there's different type of dues that can be paid. And I'm here to say that somebody that you're not even paying to be on that show, just giving them popcorn to wrestle, I'm pretty sure that happens in a lot of independent wrestlers. I'm sure they would gladly. You want to portray Avery as a star or a future star, the fans don't need to freaking see him put up chairs in the ring. So the end of my soapbox right now, because it makes me freaking hot, and I want feedback on the last tirade that I just had, because I got freaking hot, because I get hot at people that've been on the outside of wrestling, never been inside of wrestling, having strong opinions, and especially this independent wrestler that goes, instead of doing it privately, calling AJ Styles up or whatever. He does it on freaking line. And so in between one of the highest merchandise selling wrestlers on the face of God bring earth brings you up in a negative way on his social media of millions and millions and millions of people. Now, you can agree or disagree with that rant, but I want your opinion as kind of outsider looking in. I'm an outsider that used to be an insider, but Pat Trammell, your thoughts on Avery Styles. You need also more homework. Find his matches and tell me that ain't a star in the making.
Which side do you want me to argue? Because I can do both. Here we go. I got a text this afternoon. Pat, Jeff Elliott here. I hope you're well. A friend of mine has a kid wanting to get into the wrestling business. Thought I would introduce him to you. Are you still doing the podcast? Maybe I can loop him in there first, which, he can watch that. That's fine. By the way, I run into Wyatt. I said, okay, does he want to wrestle or do something else? He says wrestling. He's a senior in high school. So, you get that a lot just from being on here. One thing I can say is Cody Rhodes was born on third base. Who is he to talk about working up in the business? Without his daddy, he's not here. Now, I can argue that. The other thing I would say is it doesn't matter. We're here to make money. If Avery Styles, because of his name, can draw a crowd, as opposed to being named Wyatt Trammell, then that's what we're here all about, right? And if yeah, we all want to think you want to see people work their way up and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't matter. Can he put people in the seats? If he puts people in the seats because of who his daddy is, that's why we're here, right?
I'm thinking paying your dues. Don't you think in those training sessions with AJ, I freaking bet you anything that AJ stretched his ass big time.
If I were you, if you were promoting and I were you, that would be an angle for the first 90 days. You could work that as well as Jeff's angle when he got started, right? You could draw money on that for a year.
I don't think I'd go there.
Well, I mean, if some wrestler is saying something about it, I think you could. I mean, Randy, you could draw tons and tons of money on that.
If that guy looked like an athlete, act like an athlete, and could work and could talk and was certainly, I felt, was controllable and had a good attitude, certainly I could come up with something good. Absolutely. But I wouldn't mess with it if I felt that guy was a know-it-all that thinks just because he's main evented bum F Egypt that he was an expert in wrestling. Because I'm telling you right now, the problem is now that we did it ourselves and smartened the whole freaking world up, certainly I'd have got killed if I had a show like this 30 years ago. I mean, freaking killed.
We both would have.
And I think the people at home don't understand it. The only people that I see watching this show right now that ever lived it was Pat Rose and me back in those days. And certainly if you ran your mouth about the wrestling business, what would have freaking happened, Pat Rose? You'd have probably got the freaking arm or neck broke. That's the way it was back then. So the pain, the dues is certainly different for sure. I certainly have worked with a lot of second generation wrestlers, and certainly there's been, Pat, you can name them, second generation football players or basketball players or whatever. The main advantage they get is if their dad was one of the best, they grew up in that environment. They grew up in that absolute environment. My dad was a workaholic. I got my workaholic stuff from my dad. Then the second father figure in my life, Eddie Marlin, and my brother by a different mother, Randy West. I was around people like that all my life. So, it is what it is. Now, spending more time on that than I wanted to, but I want to go and get the feedback right now, real quick, from Doc. Here's Doc Robinson.
Oh, yeah. Well, Randy, I've been on the periphery of the business. I haven't actually been in it, but I've been on periphery of it for many, many years. So I've seen lots of guys who were, second and third generation. In fact, I would make the comment that Jarrett was actually born into the business, and he is related many times that he sold programs. He did all the menial jobs that go along with the wrestling match when he was growing up. So, that's nothing new. He paid his dues there. But I would also agree with Pat that the bottom line is, can Avery Styles really go? Can he get over in a wrestling match?
Yeah.
And I have not seen his match yet. I saw a little bit about this controversy online, but I have not actually seen one of his matches. So I can't comment on that. But if he can go, then he can go. Then somebody's going to hire him and pay him money to draw fans. So that's the kind of the way I look at it. I just don't see that there's really that much of a controversy there. I don't, this guy whoever it was that made that comment, he's probably young. He probably is, feels a little put upon because this kid, Avery Styles, got a leg up on him. But you got to remember too, being a second generation guy is a mixed bag.
Sure.
In other words, you get a foot in the door, but you also have a set of expectations that other guys don't have. David Flair was maybe the best example of that. So David was expected, to kind of live up to his dad, and that was just not in him. I don't know that he even really wanted to do that, but that was part of the expectations about him. So, being a second generation guy is not a bed of roses. I mean, it is not completely without its challenges. So, I agree. I think Avery, if he's good, if he can go, great, let him go.
It is 7:28, and we have great video coming up. But Doc, I think you posted something, and Adam just mentioned it. And Adam, the death, Memphis related, not wrestling related, but Memphis related. And Adam, I think, will be able to put. Adam, do you have the graphic up there? And so if you do, go ahead and get that up there. While he is seeing if he can get that up there, Doc, if you would talk about the death of Prince Mongo and what the hell this crazy man was all about.
Oh, man, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Prince Mongo died.
Oh, man.
So Prince Mongo was a longtime Memphis character who did everything from owning a pizza parlor to running for mayor to owning this enormous house in Midtown Memphis. And everybody knew him all over town. In fact, I had several buddies of mine in high school who were good friends with Mongo. So he established this reputation of being kind of this crazy guy. My understanding was that he inherited or got somehow a lot of money from his family. So he really didn't need to work. He was a little eccentric and he just did what he wanted to do. So he created this character of Prince Mongo. His real name was Robert Hodges. And he had kind of been out of the picture for a while. I don't know if he was even living in Memphis anymore at this point. But we just heard today, I just heard that he had passed away. So I just had to post something about Prince Mongo because I know all my friends in Memphis will be aware of that and want to know about his death. There he is.
Where was his house in Midtown?
What was the name of that street? What street was Mongo's house on? I'm asking my wife. It wasn't on Central. It was off Central.
Was it off Peabody?
Yeah, it was between Peabody and Union, and I can't
Okay.
remember the name of the house or the name of the street. I can see the house, but I can't remember the name of the street off the top of my head. It wasn't McLean. I
Was it
can't
Belvedere?
remember. I can't
Okay.
recall.
Well, nobody here knows the Memphis streets like we do, so we won't take the show up doing that.
Please don't.
Yeah.
So anyway, Mongo was this, great. He was in a way beloved in Memphis. Everybody thought he was like the funny uncle that you had who was just hilarious. So he wasn't disliked really by anybody, and he actually got a fair number of votes when he ran for mayor. So I was saddened a little bit to hear about the death of Prince Mongo.
Now, Adam said that in the 1999 election, not only did Mongo run, Jerry Lawler was in the race as well. We'll get to the wrestling stories and the wrestling footage in just a second, but there's one more picture that I do want to show right now that I did a show last week right off the death of the great former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Dory Funk Jr., who passed away last week. And this is a picture of Dory Funk Jr. with his father, Dory Funk Sr. I wanted to show the World Championship win in 1969 in Tampa, where Dory Funk Jr. won the title over Gene Kiniski, but I figured out by doing the research that the WWE had copyrights on that, and we do not want to be copyrighted, so we're not going to show that. So William, you sent me, Dr. Robinson, this picture today. So just real quick thoughts on the Funks.
Yeah, this is a picture of Dory Funk Sr. and Jr. side by side. I found this picture actually in a City of Amarillo website. Somebody had posted it from, years ago, obviously. And I thought it was just a great picture, so I thought I'd post it. There are not that many pictures or videos of Dory Funk Sr. He died in, I believe it was 74. So it was just on could be 73. So
I think so.
Before there are a whole lot of recorded television matches, so we don't have a whole lot of images of Dory Sr. So I thought this was a nice picture of it. The Funk family is still highly regarded in Amarillo, Texas, and I lived there for a while during Hurricane Katrina, when everybody evacuated New Orleans, and got to know several members of the Funk family. In addition to Terry Funk, but Dory Jr. had already left Amarillo by that time, so I never got a chance to meet Dory Jr.
Pat, your thoughts, and as I want to just suggest everybody go to YouTube and search for Gene Kiniski versus Dory Funk Jr. 1969. Also, All Japan Wrestling, there is a match with Japanese commentated on the thing. That's Dory Funk Jr. against Jack Briscoe, and it's absolutely fantastic. Pat, we discussed Dory last week. Your thoughts on what we brought up now?
Well, I appreciate Doc digging that photo. I've never seen Dory Funk Sr. wrestle either. Never seen a video of it. I mean, I understand, that was, I don't know how much anybody traveled back in those days. So it was the 50s and 60s when he was running Amarillo. Is that right? Yeah.
Correct. He came to Amarillo,
interesting.
I think, in the early 1950s, because he was not born there and had not lived there growing up. But he came there to wrestle and basically, I think, decided he liked it and eventually took over the promotion and made his home there. And Terry and Dory Jr. both grew up there.
Yeah.
Excited to do the wrestling because we are going to really tell the stories of the last three sellouts in Memphis, Tennessee for wrestling. Excited about it. We are 35 minutes in. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in just a second on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Action coming up.
You'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
This series of the greatest nights in Memphis wrestling history suggested to me and helping me lay the situation out is the great producer Randy West, and we appreciate that very much. Enjoyed this series. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we showed the June 6, 1983 loser leave town match, where many people had said this was the greatest match June 6, 83 in Memphis wrestling history. Now, in reality, Bill Dundee was leaving to go work for Ole Anderson and Georgia Championship Wrestling. He came back. Then he got the job along with Jim Cornette, the Midnight Express, Terry Taylor, the Rock and Roll Express, and more to go to Mid-South Wrestling. So they set up another loser leave town match, and it took place on December the 30th, and it wasn't strictly a loser leave town match. It was, if Jerry Lawler loses on December the 30th, 1985, if Jerry Lawler loses, he leaves town. If Bill Dundee loses, his wife and Bill Dundee gets their head shaved. It drew a sellout crowd of 11,300 people. The first of the three sellouts will show tonight, December the 30th, 1985. Now, whenever we showed this a Lawler Dundee match a few weeks ago, we got cut off on YouTube. If I don't see many people watching on YouTube, but there are a few, most people watching on Facebook. If we lose YouTube, go to the Randy Hills channel on Facebook. Randy Hills on Facebook, the Power Pro page, the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame page, or at RB Hills on Twitter X, if anything happens at that point. But we're going to the sellouts, and this, I think, after watching it back, I think it didn't have the mystique quite as much, because you had already done in June a loser leave town match, but this still sold out on December 30th, 1985. Our microphones will be hot, and Adam judged the audio. You may have to turn down the audio on the tape just a little bit so you can hear our comments if we do have any. Just judge that as it be. But anyway, December 30th, 1985, Hare versus leaving town, Lawler, Dundee, 15 minutes, 54 seconds. We watch now on Talking Memphis freaking
Jerry's
wrestling.
mind is not fully on the match
This is
and Bill
highlights.
Dundee exclusively. Take a look.
Dundee, Lawler got ink or something in his eyes beforehand, so he starts the match hurt and blinded and patched. Pat, this is the era of time Dundee is a heel that you love.
It is. I love heel Dundee better than anything.
Watch the aggression on the punches and the remarkable selling of Jerry Lawler. Now, William, were you living in Memphis? Probably not in 1985. Your microphone's not on. Go ahead.
I left in June of '95, so I think this was after that.
December the 30th.
Yeah, so I had already moved away. I was going to ask you, so this was the match where Dundee and his wife's head were going to be shaved?
Yes, against Lawler leaving town, December 30th, 85.
So was that the same wife that Dundee had that had her head shaved back in '77?
Yes, Beverly.
Yes. Oh, I'll be darned. Okay, because she had already had her head shaved once.
We showed it. There was a picture shown of her earlier.
Yeah.
Live at ringside, and we'll see her again.
I feel like I've been cheated.
Why do you say that?
Because nobody paid me for my bald head.
Pat, can you imagine the intensity of the crowd, this sellout crowd in Memphis?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they could draw heat with each other. It's so great.
Lawler had a vial of something thrown right in his eye. Dundee over to cover.
Randy, you were in the Coliseum many times, and I was there many times also, but I also saw concerts and various other things there. The acoustics in the Mid-South Coliseum were surprisingly good for a building of that size. You really felt like, the fans were, there she is, right on top of the ring, and it was so loud and it was so vibrant that it was really a great experience.
Did you notice right behind Beverly? I'm asking this to both of you. Right behind Beverly in that last shot, who was behind them?
I didn't see it.
I didn't notice.
The future Ultimate Warrior and the future Sting.
I'll be darned.
What were they?
Do what?
What were they called when they got there? The sports nuts or something?
The Freedom Fighters. When they switched from heel, the Blade Runners.
Okay.
Had something to do with it. He gets a 2 count, but he can't hold him for 3.
They had been Power Team USA when they were in California, and Jarrett brought them in and made them the Freedom Fighters.
Dundee swinging at him, nails him. Lawler missing, takes the right hand.
Pat, we showed this match one time before. Do you remember it?
Perception off.
I think I don't. I guess I do. I don't remember Lawler having the bandage on though.
We have 2.
But I mean, I've obviously seen this, and I could watch it every day, so I'm not complaining.
7 years of doing shows, we're bound to repeat something, right?
Well, I mean, you could show this every week. I mean, it's that good.
3 minutes into the action, and it's been all Dundee.
Yeah, as I recall, Randy, Lawler had something like thrown in his eye or something like he missed or
yes,
something thrown earlier in that same show.
Yes, by maybe Tony Falk, but I'm not sure on that.
Count of 2. Lawler out of it.
Quick question here. Gary says, why was Austin Idol do what?
I just saw Sting behind Beverly Dundee.
Yes. Gary asked, why was Austin Idol a big star like HBK and Ric Flair or Billy Graham? He could talk better than everybody. First of all, some promoters didn't trust him, and certainly he didn't want to do the full travel schedule like a worldwide audience was. He was good as I've ever seen. He was great because there wasn't a lack of talent, and he liked money, but he could con promoters locally where he doesn't have to be far away from home enough to where he sacrifices his family life. Idol was a great talent. But right now we're talking about Lawler Dundee, loser leave town 2, and as Al says, Lawler versus Dundee never gets old to me, and I've been watching them since 1977.
What I understood about Austin Idol, Randy, was that he got a fair amount of money in a settlement from the plane crash he was in. So he was never like struggling for money as so many wrestlers were. So he had the, good fortune in a sense to be able to pick and choose his spots. And he just didn't want to, work 300 plus days a year and go all over the world and all that stuff. That was the way I heard it.
No disqualification match. Slams his head into the top.
This is all heat all the way. And Pat, you think you could find a baby face in 2026 that would sell 98% of the match? I can tell you the answer is no.
Lord, no.
Calhoun checking the
Look at Lawler's sell. This is
he's terrific.
the art of wrestling.
The
Logical there. Dundee beating the crap out of him. Lawler down. Dundee goes for the cover. Lawler couldn't kick out. He puts his foot on the rope. Wrestling 101, people.
He may want to, but that's one of the stipulations. Dundee off the rope, slams down on Lawler.
BJ, I think, is watching tonight. Appreciate it very much.
Randy, what's the best link to watch the show live?
The referee out of the way.
The Randy Hales Facebook, the Power Pro Facebook, the Talking Memphis Wrestling Facebook, or the Randy Hales channel on YouTube.
Okay.
The worst place is Twitter, because Twitter you can't make comments. You can't let us know you're watching. So the easiest way probably is Randy Hill's channel on YouTube.
The only problem on YouTube, Randy, is sometimes it gets lost for some reason. I don't know why.
Because they're
Facebook
picky.
is probably the safest way to make sure you're going to get it. But
A lot of people
YouTube
don't
is
have
good.
Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have Facebook, YouTube is the best alternative.
That's why I tell our audience and have the last 3 weeks that if something happens with the YouTube thing, because that has the option of being our biggest venue or outlet, is just go to the Randy Hales channel on Facebook. This is just great. Lawler did one punch, Pat, and listen to the crowd. And
Terrific.
Lawler is then cut off quick.
Getting a little encouragement from his wife, Beverly. Dundee climbs back up the turnbuckles from the outside, from the top rope. Coming down, nails Lawler with both hands.
And Adam is giving you options where to watch this show and the different outlets, and also we'll probably put out if you certainly would like to contribute to this show to help offset production costs and that sort of thing. There's several different ways, and on Cash App and on Venmo, and we'll show that again toward the end of the show. And Adam can also put up a QR code later in the show, and you can just scan it with your thing. And so
it's on MemphisChampionshipWrestling.com.
Dundee just teeing off. Lawler staggering.
Dundee letting him have it.
And slams Dundee with a big right hand off the rope.
They both are so great at selling.
Qualification match.
They are, but I don't think they was ever as great as when they were selling for each other. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
Adam has a link up. You can scan on your phone to support this stream, and we'd appreciate it very much. This is great. Again, guys, we can't lose sight. This has been 100% Dundee. 100% Dundee.
Dundee tells his wife, come on, let's go. Lawler Lawler going after him, grabs him.
Now we are going to lay out our comments right now. I want you guys to see this, then comment when you see the big bump. They're fighting back at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, back in the very back area, back by the dressing room area.
Now that was highly unusual.
Yeah.
Now let's watch this. Watch how high they're going.
Back up into stands.
Watch this.
The referee chasing him.
Watch.
Dundee after Lawler.
Oh,
Over that side rail, down onto the concrete.
Good gosh, man.
Adam, any way to rewind just a tad and watch that bump again? I don't know if we have access to that, but if you can, do it. If you can't, that's fine too. But that's one of the most impressive bumps I've ever seen. Watch.
Back up into stands. The referee chasing him. Dundee after Lawler.
Ah,
That side rail down onto the concrete.
you know, and that was so cool too because it was out of the ring and it was away from ringside, but it was still visible to the great majority of the fans in the Coliseum. And they knew that. They were still being seen by most of the crowd.
Boy, well, they can't stop it, Coco. Dundee is bringing the referee back.
and Randy,
He's going to make the referee count.
to be clear, none of this was rehearsed. Is that correct?
Oh, none of it.
Dundee
They talk the finish, and that's it.
and the referee starts the 10 count.
Probably close to 10 feet for the bump.
Comes Lawler back to the ring. He rolls to the apron. And Dundee kicks him back out on the floor. But he's about run out of it. Slams Jerry's head down on the table. Unbelievable there. Either one of them still moving, particularly Lawler. Having gone over that rail, he was 8-9 feet in the air.
Again, this has been all Dundee. 97% of this match has been Dundee, Pat.
Yeah.
Lawler staggering.
Oh,
And
Right in the
Dundee
post.
slams him
Best
into the
post
ring.
in wrestling. And bragging on Lawler, but Dundee, man, it takes a dance partner here. It takes a
Oh, yeah.
partner.
In the ring.
And the chemistry between these two guys are unbelievable.
Into the ring.
and when we finish the match,
He makes it
I
back
want to talk about that some.
Beverly Dundee up on her feet. She, as I said, was about to go into hysterics. Look at Lawler. He's saying, is that the best you can do?
Oh,
we
you know
go.
what's going to happen now.
Dundee peeing off on him.
The strap's coming down. There it goes.
Strap down.
You just knew.
Nails Dundee with a right.
And Dundee can sell so well.
Mm-hmm.
On the deck goes Dundee, and Lawler falls down at the exertion of that tremendous right hand. Incredible scrap. This is war at its worst. These guys are absolutely attempting to annihilate each other. 21 minutes, almost 22
Ooh.
with everything he had left.
Now watch Tony Falk giving something
Beverly's
to
over there
Lawler
saying, "Come on,
along
Tony,
with
come on,
Beverly
Tony." Tony
as we
Falk was
watch.
up there by him.
To Dundee, you mean?
Dundee
Yeah.
threw something at him. One,
He threw
two,
something in Lawler's eyes.
and Lawler has lost it. 22 minutes, 42 seconds. The winner, Bill Dundee, the new Southern champion.
Wow. Just wow. Comments from Pat Trammell?
I haven't seen that in a long time, and I focused on the intensity, and that was outstanding. When we did the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, I kind of made it a point to um, watch Lawler and Dundee together backstage, and what I got was uh, respect, but not buddy buddy.
Right.
I think there is some, and I have it in business with people that are in my industry, been my friends for years. There's competition there. There's a little bit of heat there to this day, and I think you just don't turn that on and off. But man, that is in my top three. Has to be in my top three matches of all time.
Comments on what we just saw, William. I think we showed Pat 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the June 6th, 1983 loser leave town match. I think because the way this match was designed, all Dundee to the end, I think, and the big bump back in the back, I think this, certainly, I think even though June 6th, people say is the best match ever, I think this match we just saw was better than the June 6th match. Not by a lot, but what do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I think so. I do. I do. I love that match, and I generally do not like, as a rule, and it's a strong rule. I generally don't like outside the ring too much, and certainly up in the stands, because I think that just it looks like what it is. But that worked perfectly, and I think Lawler going off the rail and falling down and it getting back in the ring. I think they played that perfectly.
Now, William, were you in Memphis on June 6th, 83?
No, I actually got married in Geneva on the Lake, Ohio, and I was already there on June 20th. Oh no, I take that back. This was 85.
December
I had already
30.
left Memphis for New Orleans to
Okay.
start my residency training at Tulane at that point. So we were already in New Orleans by then.
All right, just so interesting. Now, Adam, part of the thing we want to do is that I understand there's so much wrestling content out there and so many viewpoints out there, and that's all fine. I was there, folks. I was there, and some of the misconceptions are just mind blowing to me. Now, I want you to look at them for Timothy Bill's text, not the last one, third from the bottom, the first one that he did. And I am going to let Pat and William comment on that. And if then I don't think they comment, they sell my side of the story the way it needs to be sold, certainly, then I will come in. But Timothy says, never understood the appeal of Jerry Lawler. He was a co-owner of that promotion and constantly put himself over. And now the very last comment that Timothy said toward the bottom, if you could go ahead and put that up there. Wow, shocking. Lawler actually booked himself to lose. those two comments, and Pat, I think as far as not understanding, if you put the first one back up there, Adam, and the thing that we're going to talk about it today, and we got people that's grown up with Jerry Lawler. I can understand people not growing up in our area and saw Jerry Lawler as the Hill commentary on Raw. Never understood the appeal of Jerry Lawler. Said he was co-owner of that promotion and constantly put himself over. Jerry Lawler would bring a Hill in and lose 6 weeks in a row. And then in the blow off, because he's the mainstay of the territory. And by the way, the reason he became an owner, he started as a 20-year-old kid, got himself over, did record business. He wasn't in the office. He wasn't part of the promotion. Jarrett just saw talent. The reason he became a partner in the company, and by the way, in 1985, I think his percentage was 15%. And besides, in this, in the match in 83, it was he won the loser leave town match because Dundee was leaving to go to Georgia and to Louisiana, and it was Jarrett who came up with the concept of the match. And in this match where Dundee went over, guess who the booker was? Bill Dundee. So the misconception and not understanding the appeal of Jerry Lawler. Speaking, Pat, for somebody that watched Lawler in Memphis and Birmingham and all over for Lawler's whole career, did I defend our case good enough, or do you have more to say?
Well, I've got three words to say. He drew money. I mean that's put himself over, don't pull himself over. And I've quoted Cornette on this, and I don't have any reason to doubt his math because he lives for it. If WWF in the 70s and early 80s had drawn as many people per capita as they did as Memphis did on Monday night, they would have sold out Madison Square Garden 3 times a week for a year. So Lawler drew money, and that's why we're here. And it was great theater, and it was great wrestling, and the people loved it. And yeah, Timothy, I think Lawler really drew money, and I respect your opinion. And maybe there were people turned in hoping to see him lose, but that draws money too, right? As long as people are watching and showing up, that's what the business is all about.
When he was a heel, you're damn straight they were tuning in to watch him lose. That's the whole freaking purpose of it.
He was a terrific heel back in the 70s with Jim White. He was great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then this other comment is where he's coming from. Lawler has won more world title wins than any other wrestler in history. That's not true. Lawler had world title matches from 1970. He had more world title matches from 1977 challenges all the way up to 1988. And he never won the world title until he won the AWA title in 1988 over Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig. And certainly after that, it eventually changed to the unified title, which was more of a glorified Southern Championship. I don't think, I guarantee you Jerry Lawler has more losses at the Mid-South Coliseum than he has wins. That's a misconception. That I would assume is not living in the Memphis area, been there, done that. Lawler's done things when I've been booking and say, hey, I think it's time for you to go over. He said, no, we can get 4 or 5 more weeks out of us. He needs to screw us. But you can kind of tell when the people are losing faith in a baby face, and you never wanted to kill Lawler up. I guarantee you, Pat, you can agree, even though Dusty Rhodes did get beat, Bruno Sammartino just did get beat. Andre the Giant hardly ever got beat. You know, Lawler being in the territory, he got beat in Memphis, Louisville, Evansville, and Nashville all the time. I mean, it happened all the time. So I want you guys, because Tim and Ohio, you and Lawler are friends. You were part of the office. I think because I was part of the office, I knew how these conversations went.
Is anybody really friends with Lawler? I don't know. And Timothy, I mean, everybody's got their opinion, and that's fine. And I'm not saying, it looks this last thing looks like something maybe AI, but I don't know if he won 100.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
Total championships. Other than the Von Erichs, and James, that's a good point. Well, it wasn't about this, but Lawler had a singularly unique career in that he wrestled 90% of the time in the same territory. And okay, James, I got it. And there's no judgment here of him. I mean, obviously we're here, 45 years later,
and we're
talking about it. And people want to talk about it all the time. So it's, I mean, we're here. People are watching the show, and including you, Timothy, because we're talking about Memphis wrestling, and people love to see it, love to watch it, and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, everybody's got their opinion, and
we're disagree with them. It's just not facts. If it's IA or AI or whatever it is, if that's where the facts are coming from, that's okay too. I was there. William was there in Memphis at the Coliseum. So certainly we're going to get off that subject because they got away from that by defending Lawler when what we should be talking about is talking about that great match, William. Go ahead.
Absolutely. The way they used to do it in the day was they bring in a bad guy to face Lawler when he was a champion. It might be Kamala, it might be Joe LeDuc, it might be Terry Funk, it might be Austin Idol, who knows, a bunch of others. And they would go 4, 5, 6 matches where the bad guy would win by some dastardly means. He would cheat or, something would happen. And then finally Lawler wins in the the final match or the ultimate match. So his overall record was like 1-6 for each of those guys. So you add that up over however many years he did that. If you just looked at his 1-loss record in the Coliseum, it was awful.
Right.
That's something. That's some research that we need to do.
Hello, Bo James. What's going on, buddy? Talked to Bo or by text a little earlier today. Kingsport, I hope you're doing good for sure. So this sets up the table. Jerry Lawler debuted in Memphis, Tennessee in 1972. Earlier than that, as a young and up-and-comer, by the way, where he got beat every week. Then in 1972, he debuted with partner Jim White and manager Sam Bass, and they started underneath, worked their self out, and what won Lawler the single push in 74 was the 1973 unbelievable business Lawler and Jim White did as a tag team at that point. Then 1974, summer of 74, Lawler rode to the gold, a shot at the Jack Briscoe World Championship. The build to that was the most attended series of matches, a 4, 5, 6 months period than the history of Memphis wrestling. Now, Lawler lost a loser leave town. The people did not expect it. Jerry's philosophy was, how can you miss them if they're not
When
going
I won't go away.
That's why, as Dundee was booking, Jarrett was heavily involved in booking this and booking the angle and all that sort of thing as well. And Lawler obviously willing, certainly, because at that point he was an owner and
Yeah.
he wasn't missing out on a lot of income, except he kind of was, because after he left, business went down, 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 down. Jarrett was hoping to keep him out until July, the hottest time traditionally in Memphis wrestling. Kids are out, and in the summer, in July and August, up until the Memphis Fair was the busiest time.
Right.
It went down, 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 down. Now, they said Lawler be be gone a year or whatever the case, and Jarrett thought, well, we got to do something because we won't be in business in a year because all the towns were down. That's the star power of Jerry Lawler. The stuff Dundee was doing, and Dutch and Landell and all that stuff was good stuff, but you lost absolutely, absolutely, certainly, business went down without a doubt. Jarrett had to come up with the angle to bring Jerry Lawler back. He came a creative way to do it. We showed this a few weeks ago. 5 minutes and 7 seconds. Jeff Jarrett intro in wrestling. One of Pat's favorite angles of all time.
Love it.
As we watch right now on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Big men they are. Oh, Johnson thrown over the top rope. Hey, come on.
Adele, it's just attacking the referee.
That'll cost you. Jeff Jarrett refereeing this match, and Landell just slammed him. There goes Jameson out of the ring. Here comes Jerry Jarrett, just stand in, and he nails Dundee.
Listen to the commentary.
Nails Buddy Landell, and right back at Dundee. This is Jerry's son that was refereeing. Uh-oh, Landell got him from behind. And Dundee slams him with a right, puts him down on the deck. Come on, this thing's getting out of hand now. God, Dundee's going for his eyes, Dave. He's only got one good eye in there. Come on.
Well, Lance was so concerned he had to get up and go to ringside. There's Dutch. Right out of the shower.
March the 1st, 1986. The way to get Jerry Lawler to return.
Beat a kid up a year out of high school, and they jump on him in there because he's trying to stop him from doing the damage they
That's
were doing.
debatable.
Jameson and
Name it
all.
absolutely unbelievable.
Then his dad comes
Has
out to help
led
him.
to massive
They
You know
go
Jerry's only got one good eye, and they go after it.
Listen to the
They start
commentary.
gouging in the eye.
Dutch's hair is still
Thing
wet.
saw.
I mean, they
I'll
were
tell you
so
one thing,
attentive
that
to
is
detail. It's so
absolutely
good.
ridiculous. Well, guys, something's got to be done about guys. I've had enough
Listen
people,
to
I
Lance.
know you have too, Dave, say, are you guys just going to let Dundee take over the entire program? And the answer to that is no. something's going to be done about it, because I'll tell you one thing. I know Marlon's going to do something, Jerry will do, and I can guarantee you this is one place I'm not objective about the thing. It's ridiculous. It's bad enough when they come out here and do some of the things they do to like Jamison and Johnson. Sure, they're their opponents. You go in there, you beat them in that, but you don't start beating them around. And then you jump on a kid just out of high school like that. Then his dad comes out and tries to protect him naturally, and the next thing you know, they're in there digging at his eye, the only eye. He's got one bad eye, and they're digging at the only good eye he had. Something's got to be done about it. That is sick.
Vance, I don't know. This is great. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, God. Listen,
we can talk about it later, Jerry. You don't need to do it right now. I mean, hey, you did whatever you could. Listen, savage guys come out here and start going after the eye. That's the important thing. Let's worry about that now. Jeff is okay. He's going to be all right. Let's go. Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's go on with the match, okay? All right. All right, referee Jerry. That's Bobby Fulton in there. Hold on. Hold on.
Complete chaos.
Hey, hold it just a minute, referee. Hold it. Can we stop just for a minute? Eddie Marlin.
I want to tell you something. Jarrett's been in my family for a long time. He's a leader. He knows what to do in any circumstances. This is the first time that I've ever seen him in this situation. They tried to put out his one good eye. When he got his eye put out, he didn't cry about it. He did tell very few people, but I knew about it. They beat up my grandson. They put him out. Jerry don't know what to do, but I know what to do. He's the leader, and when he's around, I'll say, what do you want to do, Jerry? And he'll tell me. But he's not here to tell me now, and I know what to do. It's one man that I know of that I can put in there with Dutch Mantell, and they can take care of those two guys. And that one man is Jerry Lawler. I don't care about the contract, Bill Dundee. You can sue me. You can sue the company. You can put us out of business. But Jerry Lawler, I'm going to go get him on the phone right now. And if I can get Jerry Lawler to come here, he will be against Dundee and Landell. Now, I'm going to call him on the phone, and if I can get him, he will be here.
No, that's so good.
That I fell out with Landell.
Now, at this point, we do not have the deal, but it certainly looked obviously out of focus, which I am right now, but it wasn't perfect production. So they got Lawler on the phone, and there's a phone right behind the studio.
That was always great.
Oh, that makes it better.
And called Lawler. So we'll start with Rusty. The best piece of business that you ever saw on Memphis TV?
Boy, that was right up there. I mean, you know, off the top of my head, I think there are probably other spots that were about that good, but boy, that was a good one. And I always loved it when they brought the phone out to the desk. You know, Coach Crone, who was my baseball coach, was the floor man for the TV station. You could always see Coach Crone bringing the phone out attached to the wire to the desk. And then Lance would hold the microphone up to the phone receiver to put it over to. It was just great. You just had to love it.
Now, Adam makes a point that's so good. That studio was also the studio that did the morning news show Wake Up Call.
Yes.
It's from the Wake Up Call studio, in the same studio as the rest of the studio. So it made sense to local viewers that a phone was there. This was brilliant, and I would love to see, and the payoff to that is coming up in just a minute, Pat. The payoff is soon, but your comments on that piece of business.
I mean, I love it because it is so unproduced. It's really, and I don't know if there's a better way to say that. It is so unproduced that it feels so real because nobody knows what to do. And then Eddie Marlin, comes up with, we've got to get Lawler back. And knowing the backstory and how well they did it, it was great.
Yep.
It was just absolutely unbelievable. Now, this TV show aired on the 1st to build for the 3rd television. Now, the week before did under 1,000 people and 11,000 deal. Obviously, Adam has another great comment. Live TV is the key to everything making sense, and it absolutely does without a doubt. Just got a text message from Double J Jeff Jarrett. I texted him earlier today telling him I love, and again, I'm plugging, and Pat will be watching, and hopefully Doc will too. My World podcast, the one that it was absolutely fantastic. So now we are going to go to the match that was set up on that March 1st TV. This is March the 3rd. It drew a turnaway crowd. It was 11,300 people jammed in there. Anything over 11 is a sellout. 11-3, then the fire marshal gets involved. This is in two parts, and it's just coincidence. Both are in the same time, 8 minutes 2 seconds. Adam, the first one I want to show, I think it's the second one that's down there toward the bottom. It's the one where it looks like Lawler and Dutch, Dundee and Landale, 802. The one where it looks like it shows them entering the Coliseum. Business down. They did this angle. The key to the angle with a kid they'd never seen on TV before. The referee got beat up. And then the person they hadn't seen on TV get beat up in maybe 25 years was beat up. And Lawler, the legend, was coming back. It all made sense absolutely with 110%. 802, the video where it was.
Jerry Lawler, Dutch Mantell, Bill Dundee, Nature Boy, Buddy Landale before the sound of the bell, and we got it all over the place. Alright, Lawler connects with the power punch that the King is known for on Dundee. Mantell goes after Nature Boy, Buddy Landale, and brother, let me tell you something. The Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee is rocking and rolling with this exciting action. Lawler and Mantell fired up, Lance, and they hit that ring steaming.
Boy, I'll tell you, smoking is exactly right. Bill Dundee and Buddy Landale tried to grab an edge, but Lawler and Mantell came in there. Dundee throws a chair in the ring at Lawler and Mantell. Dutch picks it up, and the referee now dumps it back out of there.
Give me that knock. Give me that damn knock. Here, Bill. Hey. As the bell is sounded, Dundee came over. His big shots knocking the announcers around, but Lawler and Mantell come in rocking. Lance, you had to put this down to get away from Dundee. He's insane.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Billy is just letting it all get to him till he is sick. Another chair heaved in there.
You know, Michael Butler makes a good point in chat about TV5. Everybody in town knew Channel 5. Everybody in Memphis knew Channel 5. because it was by far the most popular TV station in town. So you knew wrestling when it was on. It was always down at Channel 5 on Union Avenue. So you could drive down and see wrestling, whenever you wanted to, basically. So it was fascinating that situation presented itself. They had the best TV station in town. They had the best wrestling, obviously, show in town, and it made for terrific ratings.
Somebody came back in here that was going to challenge him a little bit. He had to fall in eye with Mantell, and he can't stand it. Just can't stand it. Jerry
Thank you,
Lawler
James.
in, Buddy Landell crawls through. No, I can't. Well, ain't nobody can keep him quiet, Bill. Good night. They came here to see exactly this. Dundee looking around for another chair or a ball bat or something. Lawler and Landell. Woo! And Landell nailed Dundee. Lawler got out of the way. Boy, he nailed Dundee good. Landell was going to fool Lawler after the first one and get right back on him. He's checking Billy over. Dundee's one eye is already still about half closed. Lawler waiting on Landell to come back in here. Well, I'll tell you, it's hard to concentrate on the match, having to look out for Dundee and Landell, Randy. Yeah. Landell saying, oh, I could beat him just like that, and snapped his fingers if I wanted to. Well, they tie up in the middle of the ring. There's a tag on the Dutchman, who grabs Landell's arm and rips him. Can assure you that Mantell has no fond feelings for Buddy Landell. Mantell didn't even like Landell when they were wrestling and supposed to be halfway friends along with Dundee. Buddy in the corner, ripped with a right hand from Lawler. Dutchman goes after Dundee.
Pat, your thoughts so far about this match?
I mean, it's obvious.
Boy, Dutch firing that foot out there, kicks Landell down.
I mean, anytime you get Landell and Dundee, some of the best stuff.
Lawler setting up for a pile driver.
I was just thinking about Buddy Landell. He was kind of one of the sad stories in wrestling in that he was so good, he was so talented, but he was kind of his own worst enemy. And from what I understand, it was mostly substance abuse that was his problem. He had gotten him fired from Georgia Championship Wrestling, and he never really got another chance on the big stage, as far as I know. And you would think, man, he could have been so big. He was so talented.
Oh yeah. And he could talk, he could work. There's an interview Rusty on YouTube in his later life where he talks about all that. And it's kind of, he kind of admits it, but
big slam. Dundee on the top rope. And Bill hits the mat as Lawler gets out of the way. Lawler.
I remember watching spots like that with my dad on TV, and my father would say, wait a minute. He just hits the ring instead of hitting the guy. Why is that any more painful? He's just landing on the guy. I don't know, Dad. That's the way it is.
Goes on the floor after him. Just the kind of war we figured you'd be seeing. And here it is. Dutchman.
Tell you what, I'm just sitting here thinking. It's hard to imagine four better guys in the ring at one time than those four.
Oh yeah,
Certainly in Memphis wrestling history.
that's as good as it gets.
That's it.
The second part 2 of this match as it continues, it's the one the action continues. It's 8:02 as well, so we'll play that right now. The match continues. Adam.
Slams Dundee. Bill's face busted wide open. Good night. Lawler going after that eye, trying to close it again. Dundee pushing Mantell away. Lawler doubled up on the floor. Dundee over and kicks Lawler right in the head. Billy bleeding profusely. Whew, boy, I'm telling you, they busted Dundee wide open, Randy.
Oh, let me tell you something. He hurt that eye about a week ago, something like that. Lawler came out firing, really worked on it, busted open. Dundee's badly cut open, but they've turned the advantage with a cheap shot, I may add, Lance, and now Lawler's in trouble.
Jerry down on the deck, and he is now being picked up by Landell. And Landell rips him hard. Dundee coming over and hits him right through the roof. Slammed into the desk. Lawler and Mantell bashed from behind, fighting back with Dundee. As Dundee slams the Dutchman's head into the steps, takes a rope, going after Lawler to choke him. He's got Jerry around the throat with that rope. Well, I didn't expect any wrestling, but I sure didn't know that I expected to see this kind of war.
They could sell so good for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Lawler down. His face being gouged by Dundee.
James Davis is right. This is why we love Memphis wrestling.
Lawler now bleeding.
I felt earlier I had to defend Memphis
They've got
wrestling
Jerry
and
busted
defend
open.
Jerry Lawler.
Bill. Ooh. Rip.
But that person is blocked.
Dundee fired away at the King. Here comes Landell from behind. Bill's got a chain, and he nails Landell. Lawler ducked out of the way. Look at the King go. Tags Dutch. All four of them in the ring. Landell busted open by the chain from Dundee. Lawler banging away on Landell as Dutch and Dundee are up in the crowd. The King slams Landau. He is bleeding all over. He is really cut. Dutch brings Dundee back. Dundee covered with blood. Landau split wide open where Dundee hit him with that chain trying to hit Lawler. Bill out on the floor. Dutch holding up Landau for Lawler. And as Dundee comes back in, Mantell across the ring. Out of the ring, Dundee goes.
Watch these punches and watch how Buddy sells
Dutch got him and pitched him right out, holding Landau. Oh, he is just absolutely slaughtered. Once again, Dundee.
Just wobbling.
Down on the
March
deck.
the 3rd, Mid-South
He's out on
Coliseum.
the concrete. Lawler
Sellout.
and Mantell have got Landau
We're
in
watching
the middle.
tonight the last 3 sellouts in Mid-South Coliseum history. The loser league time match was showed from 1985.
And
This is
Lawler
number 2.
blasts Dundee out.
Lawler
Well,
returns
Bill's getting back
after
a little
several
of what they
months.
gave to Jim Jamison.
So this was March 3rd of 86, right, Randy?
Yes.
Okay.
The loser league was December
Here
30th
comes Dundee.
Wow.
of 85.
Pitched out of the ring, and look at Landau. He's saying, the referee says ring the bell. Landau is covered with blood. Lawler is bleeding.
Stopping the match because I don't think Buddy can continue. The match is stopped. Lawler and Dutch Mantell are the winners of the match.
Dundee going after referee Jerry Calhoun, who stopped the match because Landau was bleeding so bad. And Dundee getting his head hammered on this desk. Landau soaked with blood. Smashed by Lawler.
1, 2, 3.
One more time.
The bout is over. What was the time, Randy? Not that it makes one bit of difference.
12:45.
12 minutes, 45 seconds. The battle
Dundee's
moves
given
on.
up.
Dundee and Landau leaving. The winners, Jerry Lawler, Dutch Mantell, as the referee stops it because Landau was bleeding so bad.
It's a weekly territory every single Monday night. Then on December the 30th, on a Monday night, loser leave against Dundee, Bill Dundee and Beverly Dundee's hair. Lawler left town. Then on March the 1st, on a Saturday of 1986, the television show involving Jeff Jarrett refereeing, getting beat up, Jerry Jarrett making the save, the phone call to bring Lawler coming back. And March the 3rd, you saw the return of the King. Pat, your thoughts? I don't know if you ever saw that. That's giving 11,300 people their money's worth right there, don't you think?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And I know you and I were talking earlier about during the pre-show about the programming on it all and all that. But how, obviously, I think you made the comment that the houses were down, and that's why you had to get Lawler back. Where were the houses before this?
Before this, honestly, it's after we did the WCW Super Shows. That's why Jerry Jarrett normally wouldn't do Super Shows, because it was hard to follow it. So after the two NWA Jim Crockett Promotion Super Shows, that the first one did real good, a near sellout, and the best box office that Memphis Wrestling ever did up to that point. And then they came back, I think, in October the second time. So usually after school starts back, it goes down, but it went down like historic lows, Pat, historic lows, to make Jerry Jarrett just say, we can't wait till the summer. We got to do it now to stay in business.
Randy, do you think at that time that the WWF had already started to eat into the Memphis business? Because they were running nationally by, 85, 86.
85 was the first bad year, but still had real good houses. 85 was when they brought in Tom Ernesto to book. Then they decided to bring Dundee back in, and then Jerry Jarrett strongly felt, even though he didn't have the angle of how they would do it, said you can't miss them if they don't leave. And so even though he wanted him gone more than that, it was important. Now, to tell you, the people that second guesses and say you shouldn't have beat the heels, the next week, like it did 10,006 people on the 10th.
Yeah.
On the 17th, it did 10,800. Then the next week after that, the 23rd, we'll come to that in just a few minutes, it sold out. But I'm just, again, trying to explain why you do this. Why you do this sort of stuff, and the decisions that had to be made. Jerry Jarrett, of the finish of this match, made the decision to do that finish. No doubt about it. Jerry Jarrett made that decision. Not Bill Dundee, not Jerry Lawler, not anybody, but Jerry Jarrett. Pat, your thoughts of that return? Could the return been any better?
Well, it couldn't, and I heard you say that Jerry, it was Jerry's finish, but and I think I don't think I never really could get out of Jerry, Jarrett, and I didn't dig too deeply, but I don't know what way. He and Lawler were obviously business partners for a lot of years. I didn't get the sense they were particularly personally close, but the execution of Jarrett's angles was perfect. Almost every time. I know there are duds out there and maybe Randy, we need to do maybe if you can dig into your background, your history, but do a duds angles show might be interesting. But that whole 3 or 4 weeks right there is making a silk purse out of Sal's ear. Because it dropped off, so you throw Jeff in there, and I mean, how's he supposed to turn stuff around? But you build on it, and you build on it, and you build on it, and you get another sellout.
Hello, Crazy Gale. Good to hear from you. Now, William, could that Lawler return been better? Obviously, you can't exceed a sellout in a turn-away crowd.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it sure feels good.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Gail, I hope you're doing good. I'm running around South Alabama and Louisiana tonight.
No, that was great. That was one of the, like I said before, this was right up there with the best there was in Memphis over time.
Now, on March the 23rd, this is a highlight, not the entire match. This entire match remember, it did a sellout. Then it did almost over 10, almost 11, 2 more weeks in a row. And then on this match, on March 23rd, 1986, it sold out again, turned away people. This is highlight video of a 9-minute, 49-second Texas match with Bill Dundee and Landell against Lawler and Dutch that went 26 falls. This is the last video of the day on Talking Memphis Wrestling, and I guess I need to get out on my time here. 9 minutes 49 seconds.
We want to talk to him, but hold on.
Yeah, you run, Russell. You just like a rabbit. You run just like Lawler.
Let me tell you something. That's a good illustration, Bill, of the way. Look at Lance Russell run right now. That's a good illustration of the way that Lawler and Mantell have been running from us. And let me tell you something, Lawler and Mantell. Endurance is our middle name, baby. If it takes 3 falls or 300, baby, Texas death match. Endurance is our middle name. And Lawler, one thing to remember, you might not make it to Monday night, baby, because I got you tomorrow night in Jonesboro.
Let me say a few words to my pal here. Hey, Mantell, I saw you down here on your knees like a grub, like this little nothing in the wheelchair over here. Hey, you think he's feeling dirty? Let me tell you something, Mantell. Let me tell you, Lawler, what are we doing? What are we doing? When you into the
Here they come.
I love seeing the studio with the cameras.
Thank you, Jerry, and thank you, Dutch, for getting them out of here. We've seen enough of them for several weeks, much less for today.
Did you ever do the cameras, Randy?
No.
Thanks.
Let me just say one thing. Dundee and Landell, you're real tough.
I love the cameramen
You're real tough.
at the TV station where TV5 employees.
Or when you got Jarrett,
Yeah.
Then on Monday nights, it was either Ken Parnell, Randy West, or in the early days, Mike
When you
Shield.
have to get in the ring like you're going to have to do Monday night against 2 more professional wrestlers like Dutch Mantell and the King, you're not so damn tough anymore.
Oh, Adam reminds me that I ran him one time in the ballroom at Jarrett's house, and that's true. I forget about that. This is highlights of the Texas
Walking
Tech.
stick from somebody at ringside, then starts clubbing with it. And again, there goes that table. Landell's head slammed right into the table. No stopping the match. It goes till someone does not answer the bell. Thus far, Dundee has got that bell, slams it into Lawler. And let me tell you, that thing is heavy.
Now, wasn't a Texas death match, wasn't that a creation of Dory Funk, as I recall?
Absolutely.
Lawler on his knees. He's on his feet at 7. Pile driver. And Lawler's head crammed into the mat.
He gets a count of 3. Yes, sir. At the 12th fall, he gets a count. And they get it. The 12th fall, Mantell gets it. They're brawling back in the back. Count of 2, Mantell kicks out. Lance, I know they have to be worn out. I know we are just doing the commentary. Man, this is wild as we've ever seen.
Unbelievable action, Randy. How they can physically go, I'll tell you. Lawler slashed by Dundee. Bill puts the table on Lawler and stands right on it, jumping up and down.
That's creative.
Oh, yeah.
Lawler being mashed by the timer's table. That's the timer's table in the ring.
Tony Richards is in the chat.
Hey, Johnny.
He said the first Texas Death match was 1963. Lubbock, Texas Boyfriend Jr. defeated Chris Barnett. What a match that was.
This is brutal.
Thanks, Tony.
With 36, almost 37 minutes in, as Lawler's head slammed.
I think Tony has an interview with Randy Hills coming up this week on the Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel. Check that out. Check that out.
Cool.
He gives him that short clothesline. Again. Dutch coming to life. The tag on Lawler.
23rd fall.
Landell being rocked in the corner by Lawler. This could do it.
Man, that is just unbelievable.
Wow.
Beautiful shot by Lawler.
The show Pro Wrestling Time Table. Look at Memphis Wrestling 1976 Part 2, and part of my interview will be included in that show. Check out the Pro Wrestling Time
He
Tunnel.
is nailing Landell with everything he's got.
I'll have to look for it.
The referee starts the count. The first one to get to his feet will be the winner. But Mantell, that's the 10 count. Referee Jerry Calhoun has explained with both of them down that the first one who answers the 10 count will be the winner. The first one up will be the winner.
Little drama.
Yeah.
Listen to the people. 11,300 people rocking and rolling at the Mid-South Coliseum.
They're both up. But Dutch was on top of Landell.
Very creative.
Yeah.
48 minutes, 57 seconds. The winners will be Dundee, or rather Lawler and Mantell. The 26th fall, 48 minutes, 57 seconds. The winners Lawler and Mantell.
48. Wow.
And the battle goes on. Mantell pulled off of
They
Landell.
fought hard for 48 minutes, and it continues, Pat. It continues.
Keeps going.
Yep.
Well, here they come out of the dressing room to try to separate this action. Everybody in the ring trying to hold them apart. Landell still goes after Mantell. Dundee after Lawler. What a brawl. Classic proportions. World
It
War
went 48
III in
minutes,
action.
and at the end, the people still on their feet, Pat.
Yep.
Lawler and Dundee swinging and slashing at each other still.
Appreciate it, Tony.
They're still trying to pull them apart. Intensity you won't believe.
Appreciate everybody's comment on talking about this wrestling. And it continues.
pulled out, and finally Dundee and Landell break loose and go after him.
I tell you, man, that's a blood feud right there, isn't it?
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Couple of pieces of business I want to tell everybody. Our series on the greatest nights of Memphis wrestling continues. So far, what I have lined up for next week, and it should be a good one. We will show the 1980, I believe it was 1987 hair match in a cage between Jerry Lawler and Austin Idol. Tommy Rich coming through the cage, Jerry Lawler getting his hair shaved. Also next week on
That's a great one.
I love it.
Oh, Lawler never got beat. Lawler never got beat. So then the next video we'll show next week is Jerry Lawler's AWA World Title win. He first challenged for that title in 1979. He wrestles Kurt Hennig, the future Mr. Perfect, in May of 1988. That will what's on here. And now I was going to go with Doc as first take, but Pat's having trouble staying awake and has to do. So I'll let you do your last take, Pat.
Well, I mean, and I'm sorry. It's been a long day, and I got to be up at 5:30 in the morning. But anyway, what I got out of tonight, especially, and maybe it's because I was paying a different level of attention, was just how those feuds developed and what started them, and what kind of the denouement of the whole work was. And Dundee and Lawler were kind of at the middle of all of those things. And the Memphis territory did not suffer from a lack of talent, but those two were just special together, and they were special when they were trying to kill each other, frankly. And great show tonight, Randy, and you and Adam. Can't say enough about the both of you. Putting this stuff together week in and week out, and thank you for that for me, and I know for our friends that share the nights with us. It's just this has been a really special night.
Pat, go to bed. Have a great trip.
Good night, Pat.
Have a great night, Pat.
Good to see all of y'all.
Doc, it's so great. Before we get your comments on the show today, just certainly give us an update on what's going on with the Blues Doctors podcast.
Yes, the Blues Doctor podcast has been on kind of a sabbatical for the summer, although we're adding things here and there. My most recent podcast was sort of an editorial on the Tony Fauci issue that we've seen in the news lately. I actually was a friend or acquaintance, maybe an acquaintance, and professional colleague of Tony Fauci dating back all the way to the 90s. So I had some kind of different insight on Dr. Fauci and what has happened to him since then. So check the Blues Doctor podcast, most recent edition, for my take on Dr. Anthony Fauci and his recent congressional hearing.
How is the beach situation in Orange Beach, and how is the food in New Orleans?
Oh, everything's good. We had the kids and the grandkids over to Orange Beach last week, so that was fun. We are in New Orleans right now. I had a gig last night at a club, which was lots of fun. So we'll probably be here in New Orleans for another day or so before we go back to Orange Beach.
Well, how's the pool situation at Orange Beach?
Oh, it's so nice.
Good investment?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Beth is out there every day. I'm out there maybe every, 2 or 3 days. And, it's so hot, has been so hot for the last, 3-4 weeks or so. During the day, even getting in the water is like getting in a sauna. So I kind of wait till after dark to get into the pool because it's more comfortable then.
Now, do you get besides your swimming pool, what's the closest body of water besides your pool from your house?
Yeah, we are on a canal that empties into Wolf Bay, which then in turn empties into the Gulf of Mexico. So you could, in theory, go, put it like a kayak or something in our canal behind our house and go all the way out into the Gulf of Mexico. You could actually sail, I guess, from our house to New Orleans going that way, I suppose.
Now, do you have a boat? Do you get out in the water at all?
I used to years ago. We have not yet pulled the trigger on getting a boat. Our thing was last year we got the pool, and then this year or sometime around that we were going to think about getting a boat of some kind, but we haven't done it yet. So we'll see. I'll let you know when it happens.
Would you think a fishing boat, a speedboat, or a pontoon boat? Or
It
something
would
else?
Yeah, that's one of the issues is what we would do because the kids don't want to use it. So, if they wanted it, they would probably want a pontoon type boat so they could all go out and drink and party and do that stuff on the boat. If it were just me, I would probably prefer a fishing boat because, I've been fishing for many, many years. So we'll see. We haven't absolutely decided that. In fact, that's kind of a sore subject as to what kind of a boat we might get.
Who's the main decision maker? The kids, Beth, or you?
Beth, for sure.
Really? Where's she leaning?
She's not showing her hand too much yet. She hasn't favored anything really. I'm guessing she would lean towards a pontoon boat, but she hasn't said that absolutely.
Just out of curiosity, Rusty, I'm just wondering because we haven't had you on. Is that I've tried to cut down how many people that we have on. I don't want it to be too many. Me and two others is the perfect thing. Thanks certainly always to Pat and Michael are the OGs this time of year. Football season coming up. Michael not here much. Tony has just been such a remarkable addition to this show.
Oh, no kidding.
I love that as well. So do you have a chance to catch many of the episodes of Talking Memphis Wrestling? I know you stay busy going back and forth.
Yeah. Most of them, like last week, the kids were in town last week, so I was catching it on and off. So I probably caught about half of last week's episode, but most of them I get at least some part of it. So yeah, I try to keep up with them.
All right. Do you have any plans for the next Blues Doctor podcast?
I may do a follow-up on Tony Fauci. He was just
I don't even know who the hell that is.
It's amazing. He was just found in contempt of Congress yesterday or the day before, something like that. So I'm kind of waiting to see how that, rolls itself out. And I will probably do a follow-up podcast to that one, in another week or so. Like I said, we're kind of on sabbatical for the summer, and we'll probably get back to a weekly show in, September, something like that.
Well,
now, one other thing I would say, I saw in the chat, Bo says he'll be back down on the coast sometime this fall. Tell Bo, I would love to help you promote a wrestling show on the coast, or Southern Alabama sometime if you want to do that. I'd love to.
And I know how to get in touch with the Blues Doctor there, Bo, so you can let me know that. And always like having you on here, William, very much, and I appreciate you making your return. And I'm very proud of this entire series that I can't even take credit for. Randy West suggested this. We have more to go. We'll get into Hurt and Lawler and Idol and the cage match and all that kind of stuff. Then we'll talk about Monday Night Memories in future weeks and a lot of my booking tenure, the last very good run of Memphis Wrestling. So we work hard for this show and like to cover a lot of things, and we're just 5 minutes late. So final words, Doc Robinson.
Well, as again, I always say, thank you for having me, Randy. This is just a thrill for me to be able to talk about wrestling from Memphis. It's my childhood basically, and I've loved it ever since then. And it's been an honor to meet you, to meet Pat, to meet Michael St. John, Chris, and now Tony Richards. Love you, all of you guys, and I'll be on anytime I can be on.
All right, fair enough, and I appreciate our audience. Email me at randybittenhales@gmail.com. Do that, randyhales@gmail.com, and let me know what you like about the show, or if you have any subjects you would want us to cover in the upcoming weeks. It's randybittenhales@gmail.com, and you can also, if you want to support this show, PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo, and that's running at the bottom of the show. And we support or appreciate any support of this show. As James says, Randy, if I get your book, can I get an autograph by you, Jeff the King and the Superstar? I can speak for myself. Them I don't see very much, so I can't make any promises for them. Appreciate Doc Robinson, appreciate Pat Dremel. Most of all, I appreciate Team Hales, and I appreciate producer Adam Dunn, and certainly Randy West for suggesting us on the topic of this show. Folks, I had a great time tonight. Have a great one. Until next Tuesday night, I'm Randy Hales saying so long, everybody. We're talking Memphis wrestling.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.